Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, text 21. Nirashiryata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. So Krishna continues to explain how one can become freed from one's karma activities. This is the third verse in that sequence. So he says here, one should be nirashihi, without desire for the results. Yata chittatma. Yata chitta. Yata means one is controlled in his chitta atma, in his mind and intelligence. And tyakta, he should give up sarva parigraha. All kinds of parigraha means all sense of proprietorship over all possessions. And in this way, shariram kevalam karma. Shariram means this body. Shariram kevalam karma means working only for the bodily necessities, the bare necessities of life. In this way, if one works, kurvan napnoti kilbisham, one will not obtain kilbisham. Kilbisham means sinful reactions. So Krishna is identifying four things. One should be nirashihi, desireless. Yata chittatma, controlling one's mind and intelligence. Tyakta sarva parigraha, giving up all sense of proprietorship over all possessions. And shariram kevalam karma, one should work for the bare necessities of life, keeping up this body. So each of these four things Prabhupada explains very nicely in the purport. Nirashir means a Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad results in his activities. So we usually have asha. We want good result from this activity. We also have sometimes asha for bad result. Like if a neighboring country or our opponent is playing a game and only when they lose, we'll go further. So therefore, we'll be expecting a bad result. So that is on the material platform. Sometimes expecting good result or bad result, but either case it is for my sense gratification. But here it is said a Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad results in his activities. Nirashihi. What Krishna wants is good for him. What Krishna does not want is bad. That is our barometer. Sometimes so-called bad is also good for us. We don't know. If Krishna is satisfied, then I should be happy. The gopis, they didn't care about the sinful reactions when they were giving their foot dust to Krishna. Because Krishna said, only the dust from the feet of my devotees can cure my headache. And everybody were afraid, oh, I should give my dust. No, I'll go to hell. But the gopis did not care. They just wanted to give happiness to Krishna. They didn't care whether to go to, if they will go to hell. So this is the barometer of a devotee. I may be in trouble, but Krishna should be satisfied. The Pandavas, they never complained, even though Krishna continuously put them in so much trouble. In fact, Kunti Devi, She prayed to give more troubles. Vipadaha shantutaha shashvat tatra tatra jagadguro bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunarbhava darshanam. So a Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad, the so-called good or bad, for his own self. Whatever is happening, it is Krishna's mercy he takes. The second word, yata chittatma, Prabhupada explains, his mind and intelligence are fully controlled. This is another important quality, that in Krishna consciousness, our mind and intelligence should be fully controlled. It is not artificially restraining from something. It is about developing higher taste. When you have a higher taste, automatically you don't have to restrict yourself from doing something. Naturally, you give up the lower taste. When you cultivate higher taste, like devotees, they tell me, from my own example as well, and many other devotees, when they take to Krishna consciousness. Earlier, they used to eat all kinds of things, including non-vegetarian, meat and all that. But having become devotees and having tasted prasadam and leading a life like that, they would tell, oh, the mere smell, the mere thought of it makes us disgusted. So this is because we've got the higher taste. What is this nonsense, lower taste? It's disgusting. So like that, when you become interested to hear about Krishna, then you don't like to hear other things. So what is this? You tend to go away. What is this nonsense? It's the same thing, chewing the chewed. It's better to hear a lecture, better to hear a kirtan, better to do some service for Krishna. So this is the higher taste. As a result, the mind and intelligence become fully controlled from the activities of lower taste. And the third aspect Prabhupada mentions here is tyakta sarva parigraha. That is, giving up all sense of proprietorship. We try to accumulate things and assert our proprietorship. But actually, everything belongs to Krishna. We are given charge as a caretaker. We should not become puffed up as a proprietor. Oh, this is my property, my boundary. In fact, Prabhupada says that one should not have proprietorship even over his own body, because the body also does not belong to us. How the body is working, we don't know. It is given to us. We didn't choose this body, isn't it? We didn't choose if we were born in a human body or a man's body, woman's body, or to a particular set of parents, or black or white, whatever it is given to us. So Prabhupada writes this extreme example, but actually it's a fact. Like an animal has no proprietorship even over his own body, the cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession. Yet the animal does not protest, nor does it have any real independence. So, of course, it doesn't mean that Krishna will do like that. Krishna takes care of his devotees. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Krishna personally takes care of his devotees who is endeavoring to serve him. So there will not be any want. But the devotee, he does not even claim proprietorship over his own body. Oh, let Krishna maintain. If Krishna does not maintain, it's okay. And he does not Prabhupada writes, for maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. He therefore does not become contaminated by material sins. Shariram kevalam karma. His karma is kevalam for the necessity of the body, not unfairly over accumulating things just for aggrandizement. So therefore, he doesn't become contaminated by sinful actions. So there is a nice conversation with Prabhupada which explains some of these wonderful aspects. Prabhupada gives beautiful answers. So a devotee is asking, because we are talking about nirashi, desireless, and the devotee is asking Prabhupada, what does Krishna mean when he says in Bhagavad Gita that we should be desireless? And Prabhupada is answering, Krishna means that we should desire only to serve him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware, bhavatad bhakti rahaituki tvai. So he said, he is also not desiring anything. I don't want wealth, na dhanam, na janam, I don't want followers, na sundarim, I don't want beautiful women, I don't want kavitam, the fruitive results from some great ritualistic sacrifices, like going to heavenly planets, attaining beautiful body, and so on and so forth. This kind of Jagadisha, O Lord, all this kind of Kamaya I don't want. But still, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted something. Even though he was desireless, he was Krishna himself, therefore he was setting an example of how to be desireless. But he still wanted something. What is that? Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahaituki tvai. Let me take birth again and again if you want. I don't even want liberation. But what do I want? I want bhaktihi ahaituki tvai, the causeless devotion unto your lotus feet. This is what I want. So, desireless really means desires only for Krishna and not for our sense pleasure. That is true desireless. We cannot be like a rock, becoming desireless in everything. And then the devotee is asking, let's say there is a non-devotee. He says, I can accomplish the same good results without Krishna. You are depending on Krishna for your good result or for achieving anything. You are so dependent. But I can achieve good results without Krishna. So let's see what Prabhupada says for this intelligent question. So Prabhupada is answering, if he thinks like that, then he is a fool. Because he does not know what good results are, really. Isn't it? It's true. Today he is struggling very hard for one good result, quote unquote good result. But tomorrow he will desire something else. Because he must undergo a change of body when he dies. Sometimes he is taking the body of a dog, desiring one good result, isn't it? In the body of a dog, the good result is he should fight and bark and win over his other street dog. And if he gets the body of a demigod, he is desiring something else. I should enjoy Somarasa like that. Indra, of course, these are all examples so that we become perfect, not that we are criticizing. But these examples are given. One Muni gave these two devatas, Ashwini Kumaras, Somarasa. Usually Ashwini Kumaras are not to be given Somarasa. It's meant only for Indra and other few demigods. But this Muni He got a young wife, Chavana Muni. He gets a young wife as the wife, young girl as a wife, because the father, Sharyati, he comes to visit the ashram of Chavana Muni, and along with him, he brings this young daughter to see the beauty of the ashram and all that. But this young daughter, she becomes intrigued. She looks at a hole on the ground which is glowing. And so she takes a kind of a thorn and starts to poke into it. What is this hole? Why is it glowing? Small hole. And then blood starts to ooze out of that hole. And then she becomes really scared, and then they see that as an effect. All these soldiers, all the king and everybody there, they see that their urine and whatever things in the body get stuck. And some great thing is happening, some reaction is happening. And then the king realizes that this Chavana Muni has taken that yogic power and is meditating inside that small hole, becoming a small object or small creature. And it is the blood of that Chavana Muni. And then the king becomes scared, because these munis, if they curse you, you can fall down in an instant and take a bad birth and things like that, lose your kingdom, your whole family will become affected. So the king becomes really scared, and he starts to suggest, please don't curse me. And then Chavana Muni says, oh, this young daughter you brought, is she married? Indirectly saying, can you offer her in marriage to me? But he's very, very old at that time, skinny and white hair, and he cannot even walk properly, that kind of old person. So the king had no choice. So he offers his daughter to Chavana Muni. And this daughter, Sukanya, she is serving him very nicely, because that was the culture. Our Vedic culture is that whatever the parents decide, the girl goes to the husband, and she serves the husband very nicely, very chaste, and pleases the husband. And so she was cultured like that, and she was working like that to please this old man, Muni. And so he felt really bad. And so he wanted a young body to please her. So he called this Ashwini Kumaras, the two doctors from the heavenly planets. He said, I will arrange Somarasa for you, because they are deprived of Somarasa in the heavenly planets. So Chavana Muni said, I will arrange the Somarasa for you. You can enjoy. But you have to give me a young body. So they took him to a lake. They dipped him inside, and they had to carry him because he could not even walk by himself. They took him inside the lake and dipped him, and out came a beautiful young body. And the wife herself could not recognize him. And then the Ashwini Kumaras assured her that this is your husband, but now he's got a young body. And then she became very happy. And this has irked Indra and other demigods. But by the power of Chavana Muni, finally they all became convinced, and they accepted that, okay, Ashwini Kumaras can get the Somarasa. So you see how for one Somarasa, the demigods become so competitive. Like that, they have different kinds of, if they attain Somarasa, they consider that as a good result. And if they don't, they consider it as a bad result. So like that, based on the body we get, our good results, bad results, they change. Whatever we consider as good result today may become an impediment for me tomorrow. If one becomes Krishna conscious, especially, oh, what kind of boon I asked. I wanted promotion. I wanted to become this and that. See how my workload has increased and it is obstructing my spirituality. So, like that. So, Prabhupada said, oh, the so called good result that he is desiring, he does not know that it is not a good result. Only Krishna knows. Sometimes he is rising to an elevated position, and again, sometimes he must fall down, take the body of a dog or a hog. And then the devotee is asking, well, Prabhupada, in that case, the non devotee will say, oh, we are also doing good service. You are distributing food, and we are also distributing food. We can also distribute food and charity. You're opening schools like Gurukul and all that. We are also opening schools and education, giving education. So Srila Prabhupada is answering back, yes, but we are opening schools that teach Krishna consciousness while your schools are teaching illusion. So what is the use? You are teaching that you are this body and everything is based on bodily platform. And people are continuing in their illusion and working hard for sense gratification for their body and deepening their eventually becoming dogs and cats. Is this a success of your opening schools? So then Prabhupada clarified. So people ask these questions because the problem is that they cannot understand the difference between bhakti and karma. When we open schools or when we feed food and when we do activities, conduct festivals or grand programs, this bhakti looks like karma. We are also working, but it is not karma. In bhakti, we also work, but the difference is we work for Krishna's sake. That is the difference. The classic example is Arjuna. We should always remember. Take Bhagavad Gita as the example for everything. Arjuna also fought. Everybody is who is a military person, they are also fighting. But Arjuna also fought. But his activity is bhakti. The other's activity is not bhakti. Why? Krishna is certifying him. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Ishtosi me drudamiti. You are most dear. You are my bhakta. What did Arjuna do? He just fought and killed people, isn't it? But the secret is that he fought for Krishna. He did not change his fighting capacity as a warrior, but he changed his mentality. At first he was thinking, why shall I kill my kinsmen? Let me leave the battlefield and go to the forest and become a mendicant. But Krishna wanted him to fight. So at last he surrendered and did it as a service for Krishna. Not for his own sense gratification, but for Krishna's sense gratification. So Prabhupada used that word, Krishna's sense gratification. Usually sense gratification is bad, but Prabhupada said Arjuna worked for Krishna's sense gratification. And so this devotee got another question. So Prabhupada, so this sense gratification is there even in devotional service? Prabhupada answers, yes. A karmi works for his own sense gratification and a bhakta works for Krishna's sense gratification. That is the difference between a non-devotee and a devotee. Sense gratification is there in either case. But when you work for your personal sense gratification, it is karma. And when you work for Krishna's sense gratification, it is bhakti. Bhakti and karma look similar, but the quality is different. The example is the behavior of the gopis. Krishna was a beautiful boy, and the gopis were attracted to him. They wanted him as their lover, and they went out from their homes in the middle of the night to dance with him. So it appears that they acted sinfully, but they did not, because the center was Krishna, to give happiness to Krishna. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends Ramya kachid upasana vrajavadhu vargena va kalpita. Ramya kachid upasana means the method of worshipping Krishna that is done by these gopis, vrajavadhu, that is the best method. There is no better mode of worshipping Krishna than that practiced by the gopis. And then Prabhupada warned, but the rascals, they think, oh, this is very good. Krishna danced in the middle of the night with other men's wives. So let us also gather some girls and dance. We will also enjoy like Krishna. So this is a gross misunderstanding of Krishna's pastimes with the gopis. So to prevent this misunderstanding, Srila Vyasadeva has devoted 9 cantos of Bhagavatam to describing Krishna's position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he gives the description of Krishna's behavior with the gopis in the 10th canto. So that's why we should not jump immediately to the 10th canto, Krishna's dealings with the gopis. We should understand who is Krishna, what is the position of Krishna. And then this devotee asked the final question. So will such persons who are non-devotees experience a change of heart since they are somehow or other associating with Krishna? If they somehow or other associate with Krishna. But Prabhupada gave this example of Kamsa. See, Kamsa also associated with Krishna, but as an enemy. But bhakti means anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam, favorable devotional service. One should not imitate Krishna or try to kill him. You are imitating, oh, Krishna did Rasa Leela, let me also do. You are imitating Krishna, you are thinking of Krishna, but that is not bhakti. That's not anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam. Or Kamsa, thinking of Krishna but with an intention to kill him. That is in one sense Krishna consciousness, but it is not favorable. Therefore it is not bhakti. But still Krishna is so merciful that his enemies also get salvation. Because they have somehow or other thought of Krishna. So what to speak of those who favorably render devotional service? So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.